You are now listening to Random Ramblings with Rob.
What up, everybody? This is your boy B-Rob, and I'm back with another edition of the Random Rambles with Rob podcast. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you, the listener, for coming back each and every week, or however you listen to podcasts. If you're a first-time listener, I'd like to thank you oh so much for giving my show a try. And if anybody recommended you to me, go ahead and lean over and give them a crisp high five. But if you're scared of Omicron crime or whatever the fuck they call that variant that we got floating around this bitch now, you may not want to touch hands with nobody. So pick up your social media app of choice. Oh, my screen got fingerprints on this thing. I need to clean that. Pick up your social media app of choice and send them a well-crafted DM telling them thank you for recommending you to me. And speaking of social media, you can find the Random Rambles with Rob on various social media platforms to include Twitter at 3R Show, Instagram at The 3R Show. And if you want a whole bunch of wrestling talk, you can catch me on Wrestling is Trash or Wednesday nights after AEW Dynamite on RBR Weekly Wrestling Talk. Every Wednesday we go live after the show. And shit, I got a lot of other things that I can plug too, but for everything that I forgot to mention, you can go to randomrob.com. Randomrob.com, to where you can find all different types of ways to support the show, buy merchandise, or you can check out the sponsor, Hooks, Rubs, and Spices. Hooks, Rubs, and Spices. Get 15% off your order if you use promo code RANDOM. You can probably get a cool hat like I got over here in the corner on my luchador mask. But if you're not watching the video, I guess that observation is mute. Anyway, got a guest with me today. Reached out to me across the World Wide Web from across the world proper. So, yeah, joining me is Phil. Look, I pointed the right way too on the camera. Nice. The Blerd Explorer. How you doing there, Phil?
How you doing? Thank you for having me on.
Word. So, I mean, we got a couple of things to talk about, man. You got books out, sure. And one thing that perplexed me is you's a brother.
Yeah.
But you way over in Korea and shit. So I'm like, are you in the military, or you just happen to
Nah. So for those who don't know, I'm Phil. I go by the Blerd Explorer, Instagram and TikTok. I live in South Korea and I work as an ESL teacher.
Oh, okay.
So I teach English as a second language.
Word. So you speak Korean?
Nah, I can't speak. Nah, like basically, I'm still trying to learn how to read the language.
Okay.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, so Hangul, like Korean, learning how to read Korean is pretty easy.
Okay.
It's just speaking like many Asian languages, they're very difficult to learn because they don't use the same alphabet, they don't use the same phonics or vocabulary like we do, say, in the Germanic or Roman languages like English or Spanish or whatnot.
Okay. So, I mean, how do you wind up in this situation? How do we get way on that side?
Let's be honest. It was senior year, 2015, about to graduate. I needed a job, man. I've been saying that, you know how you do when you're about to finish college, try to figure out, okay, I'm going to job fairs, I'm sending out resumes, cover letters, nothing's landing. And then one day I say on my university job board about the idea of teaching English in South Korea. Now, for me, growing up, I always wanted to travel, see the world. Primarily, I always wanted to go to Japan, right? Yeah. But I didn't think it was possible. And the only time, at least for me growing up, like throughout like the late 90s, 2000, whatnot, early 2010s, I'd never seen or ever heard of a Black person traveling or living abroad who wasn't in the military.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean as an African American in America. Like, I never heard any Black person traveling or living abroad that wasn't military. That wasn't really, that's something you never really heard about back in those days, like you do nowadays.
Word.
And so I looked more into that. I thought, okay, there'd be a good chance to travel, see the world, and also pay off my student loan. So I came to Korea in May 2016. I've been here ever since. And no, I have not paid off my student loans yet. I haven't even started yet.
I don't think nobody is, man. That's going to be what it is: death, taxes, and student loan debt. Three constants in life. I think I
They'll
got
never go
student.
away.
I think I got student loans. I ain't never been to school.
Oh man, how's that impossible?
I don't know, but well, they'll find a way. They'll
Yeah,
find a
it's
way.
like, okay, we'll pull your name out of some random dude's hat. Okay, Rob, I find $50,000 student loan debt here.
Yes, son of a bitch.
Yep.
So I mean, whoa. So you've been there since 2016,
Yes, sir.
and so fuck 2016. Goddamn. So what was it like? Touching down that first time in 2016.
Even if you move to another city or state, it's like always that culture shock, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a major culture shock. Now I'm going from the United States, which was like a major diverse melting pot, right, to a country where like 95% of the population, everybody looks the same, dresses the same, has the same hair texture. So it was that, and plus also the fact that I'm a black man in East Asia. So that's made more of a major culture shock. Now I'm getting used to the fact that people are staring at me out of curiosity because again, it's not something that they see every day.
Yeah. And, and I thought it was hilarious too. You talk about just being abroad in a land that is not your own. I seen a couple of pictures on Instagram. One of the funniest ones to me was you standing in the doorway of one of the buildings
Yeah.
and whatnot, and it is just like from here down is all that's visible. You can't even see from your chest up.
I think that was my apartment, but yeah, probably, but yeah.
So I mean, they cater to their people there because it's obviously their country and whatnot. So how is it for you? Because I mean, I know the size difference is just way different from what it is.
Yeah, for the audio viewers, I'm 6'7", 2 meters tall. So yeah, I'm a pretty huge guy. Now the difference is, especially when it comes to Asia, right? I hate stereotyping, but most people in Asian cultures, they're not very tall, right? Now nowadays you're seeing a lot more taller Korean men and in some cases some women, right?
Mm-hmm.
But again, most of the culture, the housing, especially my current apartment where I'm staying at, it was designed for somebody who's short, like from average height.
And I forget where it was, but like that toilet situation is unique over there too. Is just I seen places to where they just damn squat down over a hole and shit.
Yep, yeah, the squatter toilets. Yes, even when at my current school, I see in one of the toilets had them too. The squatter toilets. I've seen them in and public rest stops too as well. So they're there too. And also one fact, if you ever go to using a public toilet in Korea, sometimes they have like a little bar of soap on the metal tin thing. Mm-hmm. So basically, like you got, which I don't recommend touching at all. Person, just keep your own hand sanitizer.
Oh, so you're like, yeah, take a squat and you can wash your ass with this bar of soap right here.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm like, nah, man, I don't touch that.
Mm-hmm. So you've been there going on about 6 years now.
Yeah, about 6 years. This year will be 6 years.
Word. So, I mean, obviously there's some comfortability about being there for so long and whatnot. I mean, what has come to be your favorite thing about being in that region of the world?
Honestly, what kind of kept me going, and this is leading up before Corona happened, just meeting new people, being able to travel to other countries, and also going to like various video game tournaments that I personally had a chance to go to when I was living in the US, right? Like I went to like the Pokemon VC tournaments. Mm-hmm. Never had a chance to do them because those type of tournaments they were pretty far away at the time. So obviously I can't always make it to those back in the US, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in Korea, it's a small country, so it's easy to make a day trip up to the capital of Seoul and head back home afterwards.
Word. So you got two
and
books.
Also, I forgot to mention also healthcare and also not worrying about the police.
That's a good one to zing in there.
Yep.
So you got two books for two specific cities or whatever. You want to speak on those real quick?
Yeah, sure. My first book is called The Black Traveler's Guide to Incheon, South Korea, which I wrote in 2020. And my second book is The Black Traveler's Guide to Daegu, South Korea, which I wrote in 2021.
Mm-hmm. So it's just specifically for those two cities?
Those two cities, yes, sir.
So it's like, what gave you the epiphany to do something like that?
Well, my concept really, what gave me the idea is I wanted to create a Black travel space, like content, to show to provide stories to show that yes, there are other black people, black men who are traveling abroad who are doing other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my content is more about kind of fusion of anime, gaming, nerd, and travel content. So some things I enjoy. So I figure why not make them? And plus, main focus reason I designed these two books designed to be for black people. Anybody's welcome to read, of course. Anybody,
Yeah.
there's use for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. But why is, and I mentioned both my books, why is it tailored just to black people only? And it's because when it comes to travel, especially for African Americans, we're pretty new to traveling abroad in general. Because if you think about like during the 2000s, early 2010s, you never heard of or seen any black travel content ever. Nowadays, like between like 2016 up to 2020, and now you're seeing a lot more black travel groups, black travel Instagram people, black travels on YouTube and whatnot. And that was never there before. But we still need more. We're still a pretty small representation. I figured why not create a black travel guide, kind of like somewhat like to the Green Book, but not really necessary, you know?
Okay.
Because if you look at the travel, again, because especially I know most African Americans are kind of afraid to travel to Asia because they're afraid they're going to get stared at. And I kind of want to use the books to ease their minds saying, hey, yes, you will get stared at. All foreigners get stared at, especially with black and brown people. It's just because they're not something that they see, they're not used to seeing every day.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of kids, real world examples, there have been times when I had students, when I worked at different schools or different English academies, I was the first black person they interacted with or the first black teacher they ever had.
So being there teaching them English and everything, I mean, I know you have a curriculum that you have to stick to. I mean, you do it's straight down the line. Hey, this is what they need to learn. This is your input.
We got to down. So I do have a textbook that I follow, but I do have that freedom range to do how I want to do.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was on asking. I mean, do you put your own flair to it?
Yeah, usually like for my examples, I always use a lot of SpongeBob references of Pokemon because, like honestly, SpongeBob is like the most useful education tool ever. It's just so many gifs and memes that just work for all the lessons.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, are you playing any American music out there?
Nah. I ain't gonna try to play hip hop, at least out loud.
Well, I mean, you don't have to play any of the current stuff. I mean, you can get the vintage things.
I don't play it. Usually, I put my headphones in, listen to music and stuff. No, true story though. One thing to note, when you're walking around Korea, especially some of the stores and restaurants, you'll be hearing a lot of both mix of K-pop music and also like Western music. So you will hear uncensored hip hop all the time in Korea.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So imagine, yes, in 2020, there were stores playing WAP, blasting WAP on the speakers. Yes. Yes.
That would be hilarious or whatever.
It is. I'm pretty sure there are teachers who had like that awkward conversation with the kids, asking the teacher, "What does WAP mean?" I'm glad I didn't have that conversation because I was not ready for. I would not be ready for that.
So are things pretty timely out there? What I mean by that, because like I know I've been to other countries or whatever, military, of course, to where like things that are kind of hip and trendy or whatever kind of don't hit them around the same times or whatever. They usually get there a little bit later and everything. So like music, magazines, and all kinds of things like that are kind of behind.
Yeah. No, they're pretty on top of things, especially there's more international stuff, like especially the hip hop's very huge over here. Marvel, definitely for sure. Marvel is massive over here. And it's funny, like I talk to my kids all the time about Marvel characters that you'll see in the MCU. Like they're like looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, who the heck is this guy? I'm like, do you guys know the X-Men? They're Marvel. Like there's a reason for Marvel, really. But yeah. But one thing to know about Korean culture in general, like they're very, how can I say, like social media trendy. Like for example, if there's a new restaurant or cafe that's trending massively in Korea, then not too long after you'll see a bunch of Koreans going to said restaurant or cafe, showing on Instagram, and then they'll die out.
So it's the norm of social media. Then it's just like, oh, this is hot. I'm gonna try it. All right, I'm done.
Yeah,
with this
so I would say like a true story. Yeah, true story. Like this is how powerful social media is in South Korea. For example, from 2016 to about early 2018, I've had students compare me and other black teachers. We've been through this. Had students compare me to like Oprah, Obama. I look like LeBron James or some type of rapper, right? But when Black Panther came out, literally
boy.
immediately the following class I had the day, I think it was like the following business day we had classes. I had, even up to now, I had students compare me to Wakanda teacher, Black Panther teacher. And it showed them, like, to show them, like, again, like most Koreans, for example, like when it comes to Africa, like all they see is like the poverty porn, like hungry, starving Africans, right? That's what they see. That's what all even my kids, that's not what they seen, right?
Yeah.
So when I showed this black YouTuber called Traveling Truth, who did like to show like this little video about the real Africa, like the wealthier, fancier side of Africa, they did not believe me that was Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that shows you how powerful social media influence can be, especially media in Korea is.
Word. So, I mean, so when you say your kids and everything, do you mean
Yeah,
you're teaching like your younger group of students?
Yeah, so I did in kindergarten, but my main focus is elementary. I do elementary students.
Oh, okay. Word. So, I mean, was that the option or was that just what was available?
I mean, there's options. You can do elementary, middle school, high school, or like the pre-K kindergarten levels. Me personally, I just like messing with elementary. I had like fun goofing around with elementary students.
Word.
And of course, yeah. And of course, since I like Pokemon, I like to talk to them about that too. And I had students talk, like, this is during the Nintendo 2DS, 3DS era. I had students talk shit about me, telling me, "Hey, I can beat you in Pokemon battle." I'm like, "All right, bet. Bring a game. We're playing this."
Oh, see.
I had to teach them a hard lesson. I had to teach them the hard way.
And see, I mean, and that's good because you're getting them on the ground level, whatever. You got the younger kids and whatnot, and they're gonna take those lessons with them, as they get older. I was like, yeah, man, I know not to talk shit with these Pokemon battles, baby.
Yeah, so listen, man. Yes, listen. Just because I'm a foreigner doesn't mean I don't know how to play Pokemon. I can smack you. Don't try me. It's funny, just like in real life, yeah, one dude talking trash about you, right? But when you smoke them, it's like then it got real quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what was all that trash talking, huh? What happened?
So you got your I'm sorry, you got your ranking there on Smash or whatever. I mean, so is it safe to say you're pretty good at that?
Yeah, I'm decent, but there are a lot of other powerful players out here over here in Korea, man.
So is there because I know you spoke about it earlier about the tournaments and all kinds of things like that. I mean, how popular is it there compared to the States from what you can recall?
Well, mostly for context. So Korea's always been mostly a PC and mobile gaming country, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they also been known to play for Street Fighter players and Tekken players, for sure. Especially Tekken is massive over here. I'm not gonna even try to bother playing Tekken tournaments over here, man. I'm gonna get smoked.
Word.
But no, at least when it comes, like, say, for Super Smash Bros., for example, right? There wasn't really a scene here. There was no tournaments going on until like the Switch came out, when Smash Bros. Ultimate came out. That's when you see more and more Korean and foreign players. That's when you see a lot more tournaments, events that happen in Seoul. Like, I used to host a tournament back in Daegu up until from 2018, 2019. I used to host the tournaments up in Daegu because while Seoul is fun, but it's pretty expensive to travel there on the weekends. Okay. Like for hotel, lodging, whatnot. So it does get a little bit pricey.
Okay. So, I mean, what has become your comfort food there? What's the cuisine like on that side for you?
Yeah. Honestly, the Korean fried chicken, man. I spent too much money, and I'm afraid to count the receipts and look at my orders. I'm like, oh God, I spend too much every week on this. But nah, man, it's really that good. Like, Korean fried chicken is so good. Like, it's massively popular. Like, there's a franchise literally almost in every corner in Korea. Like, franchise of mom and pop shops everywhere.
So is it just like a Korean Colonel Sanders or whatever?
I mean,
it's still KFC.
Yeah, they still have a KFC actually here, but yeah, but with its own flavors. Like, so for those who don't know, actually, African American soldiers during the Korean War taught Koreans how to fry chicken.
Word.
Yeah. So I think that's one aspect nobody really talked about. Yeah. So apparently, African American soldiers during their time in Korea, they actually taught the Koreans how to fry chicken like Southern style. And I think
I'm going to ask my dad about that. I'm going to ask my dad about that because he was in the Korean War.
Yeah. So that's how they got over here. And for many Koreans, especially when they get older, right? It's like when they have to retire or get pushed out of the company due to ageism here in Korea. Mm-hmm. Most of them open up a chicken restaurant or a cafe to support themselves.
Okay.
But it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy for Koreans in terms of low barrier entry for Koreans to open up a chicken franchise. But it's uber competitive. So it's really hard for them to either break even. This is even before Corona happened. For them to break even or to make a profit. This is not the easy.
Word. I mean, I am ignorant to the culture over there, and only from what I know is from movies and stuff or whatever. You talk about how they have that competitive nature and whatnot. It's like street gangs and shit over the fried chicken and whatnot. It's like fight
even my kids, like we're doing like a simple review game, right? They get uber competitive, like it's like Squid Game type like levels of competitive. Like, guys, calm down, it's just a game.
I like
go ahead. So by the way, for those who don't know, they actually have a fried chicken and beer festival here in Korea, the Daegu Chimik Festival.
Well, shit, that sounds like if I made the move or whatever, that'd be the one that I want to go to.
And it's worth it. I'm telling you, man. At least when it's safe when it started back up again, travel starts up again. I highly recommend everybody check out the Daegu Chimik fried. It's a fried week-long music festival with fried chicken and beer, and also Korean street food.
Word.
So, and also, it's right. Yeah, it's in the park, but it's also in the park. But across the street from the park is also a amusement park. So I think you got a child. You have a son, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's perfect for him. So you can go to the park in the morning, have fun in the amusement park. In the afternoon, go get some fried chicken.
Have you seen Spider-Man, the newest?
Yes, I have. Day one, the first day when it came out.
What was the atmosphere like over that way? Because I mean, I know how it is here, but
yeah, it was pretty popular. I think now I live in a small town, right? So I can't go to like the major theaters. So, but you can tell it was packed that day for the movie theater I went to. Like tickets were sold out. Like I thought I wouldn't be able to get one after work, but I managed to get one though. I had a great time, and I even thought about going back to rewatch it.
Yeah, I've been on the fence about it. I mean, I know I want to, but it's almost like a time thing or whatever. It's just like if I get home too late, then I go see the movie. It's like 2.5 hours, and I gotta come home, go sleep, get back up, go to work. So I'm gonna see it again, but I've already got on Amazon and I've already pre-ordered the Blu-ray, and they don't even have a release date for it yet. I just like, here, take my money, just send it whenever you get it.
Yeah, exactly. I enjoyed it so much, especially. Again, back on the spoiler talk, I guess. When Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield actually showed up.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I heard the rumors, but I was like, I thought like, nah, this is probably just a cop out. They ain't gonna do this. But, oh my god, they actually did it.
Yeah, and I was in the theater like, oh shit. That's exactly my words when I seen it. I was like, oh
Me
shit.
Too.
And then,
Me too. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm thinking, was it? Oh my God, Jimmy Fox. When he mentioned why isn't there a black Spider-Man? I'm like, oh my God, they're actually gonna do it? He's gonna bring him out?
I hope so, because I mean that's how subtle it was in the previous Spider-Man movie with the multiverse conversation or whatever. Because Mysterio was talking about, there's multiverses, and Peter went all off on like, there's a multiverse, yada yada yada. And then we would get stuff like what if, and then all this stuff dealing with the multiverse and shit. So it's just like, they'll subtly mention something, then they'll just have like big ramifications later on. And I'm just like, Miles Morales.
Yes. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was really disappointed, like for the post-credit scene when Venom, like they all went back to their universe. I'm like, man, I was hoping they'd stick around.
Well, he kind of did stick around, though.
He did kind of, but like I was hoping for them to just stick around, like I thought they would actually be part of MCU.
Well, I don't want them. Tom Hardy can stay over on that timeline or whatever, but if they left a little drop of the symbiote so that can attach to something else, make a whole nother Venom, and I'd rather see that than Tom Hardy, because his Eddie Brock, and I know he's not American, so he's a foreigner doing an American accent, and it just like it doesn't sound like, it's weird to me. It just throws it all off of me. And then the second Venom film that they created wasn't as good as the first one, and the first one was just kind of like cool for what it was. Yeah, but
I'm like, I was bored watching Venom the whole time. I was just watching it just because the MCU thought maybe they'll do something with it. Yeah. And when I heard about the post-credit scene for Venom 2, I'm like, okay, I'll just watch it just to watch it, the movie. The whole
movie was a setup for the end credit for the damn movie.
Exactly. I'm like, wow. I'm not gonna lie. I don't watch it in theaters. I'm like, damn. I'm really glad I didn't waste my money on this.
Yeah. I mean, do you find yourself bootlegging a lot of things being over that way?
Low-key, yes. I
Yeah.
mean, I still, yeah. Low-key. No, well, to be fair, like in terms of South Korea, they don't really have like piracy laws over here, so it's not like something that they can actually technically do something like if you're gonna bootleg something over here, like no what in U.S. companies they really can't do anything about it, really.
Well, shit. Well, that's a gangster's paradise then.
Exactly.
Give me all the shit.
Exactly. So it's not the first. I wouldn't be surprised if people bootlegging everything because again, what are they gonna do? Like, because different laws, different country, different laws. It's like not much they can do unless they want to try.
Word. How often do you come home? I mean, where are you from in the States?
South Carolina. So the first and last time I've been back in the U.S., I went to visit my family in Alabama back in February 2019.
Okay.
Yeah,
South
so that was the first. Yeah, but that's the first and last time I've been back to the U.S.
They tore down south of the border, right?
No, I did not. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, they tore it down. I was sad about that. I mean, I would pass it so much on trips going home or down to Georgia or something like that, and I'm like, I'm gonna stop there one day. Then I stopped there one day. I took my kids to the little reptile house, and I just happened to look on the news the other day, and they said they're tearing it down. So big ass sombrero is going away. All the fireworks and all the reptile houses and the roller coasters, all them shits is gone.
I didn't hear about that. Usually, like if I hear anything about the news, it's like when I wake up, trying to get ready for school. That's the only time I hear about what's happening back home.
I mean, do you miss anything about being here?
Honestly, not much. I mean, I do miss buying clothes. Be able to go clothes shopping because again, yeah. So let me be clear. So in Korea, in many culture, in most Asian cultures, it's all about being looking slim and thin.
Yeah.
So being fat or obese there's body shaming over here, but there's not a lot of clothes or places you can buy clothes for those who are in the big and tall category. I mean, there is, but like for example, there's a place in Seoul, place in Incheon in Seoul, right? But that's like a 5-hour trip to buy clothes. I'm not going to do that.
Word. I can only imagine. You said you said you're 6'7", right?
Yeah, exactly.
And oh man, so
just imagine you have to
pants
travel
is like this big.
Yeah. Just imagine traveling 4 or 5 hours just go to Capital plus Metro, just go clothes shopping. That's my case right now. I'm not doing that. I was ordering my stuff for Amazon, have it shipped here. It's just so much easier.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. It was like I imagine you order a lot of stuff online and whatnot.
Yeah, I do. It's just much easier, especially electronics. So electronics are very expensive here. The PS5 was very expensive here. Like I want to say like the digital version, if going exchange rate, I want to say it's about $470, I think. That's the digital version.
Or shit. Yeah. That's cheaper than That's cheaper than what you're gonna get it here in the States.
I think so. How much is it? Like the digital version? I forgot. In US.
Shit, $800.
Yeah, no, the same here. Like I actually bought mine over the summer. Like I had a Korean friend of mine. She came with me. We walked around. I went first to this Kuchik electric market in Seoul. They were sold out, so I tried another market. But she called the vendors and said they had a pretty clean stock, but they were a little bit like $200 more. $100 more in terms of selling the PS5 at that market compared to, but like on the stores, like people are still, you got scalpers paying like $800, $900, $1,000 for that over here too.
Shit. Hey man,
I'm like, I'll take it.
How hard is it to get a graphics card over there?
I'm pretty sure it's hard. Now, again, like I said, electronics are pretty expensive here. So, I mean, there are companies. There's actually a foreigner guy who can build a PC, which I've been meaning to look into because I'm looking to get PC built sometime soon. But yeah, like I said, in general, like smartphones, especially smartphones, they're heavily expensive over here. Like, because all you get is Samsung, LG, or iPhone. Those are your only options, mainly in Korea.
Shit.
And it also doesn't help that like literally the heads like basically the country's economy is run on conglomerates like Samsung, LG, Hyundai. They're one of the few families who pretty much run the economy, all the markets, all the industries, really.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but
yeah.
I mean, what's the next chapter for the next book? I mean, you already
right
in the works
now
with that?
I'm actually gonna work my book number 3. I'm actually gonna write about the whole country of South Korea.
Okay.
It'll be basically a big, giant, thick book about travel guide for South Korea. I have no idea when it's gonna come out because I looked at my list of places I'm going to visit. It's a lot, and also because of COVID, so that's gonna be a little bit.
Yeah, true.
So I got, and plus I live in a small town, so traveling outside to like say going to the West Coast, like that for me, that would be like a 7-8 hour trip just to get to the West Coast from where I'm at.
And that was another question that while you bringing up COVID and everything. I mean, I know the impact of it here in the States and, the protocols and all the things that were put into place and, how everything was going on. How was that for you over there?
Like everybody else, when we got shut down, everybody was supposed to go home. The Korean government had bars, restaurants, do all the shutdowns, right? But the churches, they still kept going, even though the government said, "Hey, you can't do this. You can't meet in person." But they didn't listen. And a lot of times during 2020 and 2021, most of the outbreaks came from the churches, from people going to the churches. And unfortunately, like many places, many jobs, restaurants, shops, they've been closed permanently due to the pandemic, due to the shutdown periods. And now the Korean government has basically said, we have vaccine mandates. Like you have to show like proof of vaccination or have like a QR code to show that you got vaccinated to enter certain restaurants or establishments.
Okay.
I did agree with that first, but now it's getting crazier to the point which even I got to criticize them for. It's like, okay, now I think the Korean government says you had to have third dose. They had to have the booster shot to go into an establishment. I'm not sure when that's supposed to start, when that requirement is supposed to start.
Okay.
But even I gotta admit that's kind of unfair because what if people who already got the first vaccine shots, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, haven't had a chance to get the booster because you gotta wait to for that grace period.
Yeah, that is true.
So even I gotta criticize them on that front. And now, true story. Back in early 2021, this is back in Seoul, like on the West Coast, like near the capital area. The Korean government, there was an outbreak in that area, and the Korean government ordered all non-Koreans, all foreigners, to go get tested. And one thing to know in Korea, right? Usually you'll see a lot of white people crying or playing, "Oh, this is racism, this is xenophobia," and all non-white folk were like, "Really? That sucks, huh?"
You don't say, huh?
What? Being discriminated sucks because you color your skin? Who would have thought about that? No. But even I'll admit, I get why they wanted to do the testing, but the problem is how rushed they did it because there's only like a few locations where people go get tested, right?
Okay.
So imagine there's long lines for people standing hours because, again, there's like limited location. It was too quickly. So even I got to call them out on that front.
Word. Shit. So, I mean, you've been there, about 6 years now or whatever. How long you plan on staying?
Long as I can, man. Right now, I'm in a great position. I switched to, back last year, March 2021. I switched to my current job, which I really love. I have a great time with the kids. I love the location, too, in terms of cost of living and making money over here. So I might as well go ahead and stay here right as long as I can and, stack some money up and also write more books.
Word. So, I mean, question is, I mean, you plan on staying there for a while and whatnot. I mean, what the social life, what the nightlife like out that way?
Social life, pre-COVID days, man, especially downtown areas, like where I used to live in Daegu, for example, like it'd be packed, people going to bars, restaurants, bar hopping, people just socializing and have a great time. Nowadays, I mean, people still do that though, but limited numbers, locations, stuff, and limited times. But it was pretty fun. I can tell you this much. It was definitely worth it. It's one of the reasons that what people keep staying in Korea because they love that social aspect, the social life, having a good time, especially those who like to go drinking. one spot that was popular, especially in Daegu, I used to go to a few times. A place called Go Go's. So basically, just imagine like you pay about $2 to $7 for Capri Sun size type alcohol in the bag.
Word. Shit. I mean, that does sound, man, you made me kind of thirsty.
No, but yeah, sake is also a massive drinking culture too. So it's not unheard of, especially before COVID, was people go to the convenience store, buy a bunch of beer, alcohol, snacks, and sit outside the store and just sit down and eat, drink, and talk all night.
That sounds pretty cool, to be honest.
Yeah, you got the tables out there. People will sit down, just pour a couple of drinks, and just eat up and chill.
Word. I mean, I rarely see a sense of community like that here in the States.
Yeah. I would definitely say, at least depending on the city, of course, I find that smaller, medium-sized expat communities, they're more tight-knit, they're more close. Everybody kind of knows each other, they're cool with, versus like the largest cities because, you know, it's so massive, like people have different spots and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, and I'll admit at times, like when I first, like looking back, you know, COVID gave me a chance to think. I kind of wish I was more social.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, I am introverted. I do sometimes prefer to stay home on the weekends, but sometimes I kind of wish, like, you know what? I wish I went out a little bit more. I wish I stayed a little bit longer where I used to do the rec league ultimate frisbee. Like, I would stay, usually after games ended, I would just go home. Looking back, I'm like, okay, maybe I should have stayed a little bit longer and hang out with the guys, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Got to know people.
Yeah, I can see that. There's been plenty of times to where, like, and then sometimes even when you do stay, you feel kind of awkward or whatever. You just kind of like, all right, I'm here. So,
Yeah, exactly. It's like I kind of wish I would have a little bit more of a balance, like social, stay at home type of balance, you know, kind of like a middle ground.
Yeah. So whenever we went into lockdown the first time and everything, people were flipping out, talking about, I want to go out. I want to go do this. I miss my friends. And I was in the house like, this is great.
Yeah, it was for me too for a while. But fortunately, like in 2020, in my other job, I ended up, I guess you could say, put on leave for like July 2020 up to February 2021. So pretty much I was stuck at home all day on a reduced salary, so I couldn't technically work. I was still on the contract. I was still employed, thankfully. So I had that job security, but I wasn't able to teach. I wasn't able to do any type of work, you know. So being stuck at home all day, waking up, playing games, watching movies all day, it does get repetitive and boring at the time. So
yeah, I can understand that. So I mean that would be the best and the opportune time to start writing things, right?
Yeah, that's why I got the idea for the first book. And I said, I got time off. Why not go just do that? So I went all around the city, Incheon, where I was living at the time, and started taking pictures, writing down notes, and made a book about it.
Word. So, I mean, wow. I don't, it's just like, I don't know. It's just anybody that can do what you've done and everything. It amazes me because like I've entertained the idea of doing, you know, just writing a book or whatever, but it's like, it's real difficult to me. I'd rather do something like this, like what we're doing right now or whatever. But I don't know. I'm just amazed. My wife wrote a book and it amazed the fuck out of me that she, you know, she had that skill within her to, you know, just create like that. I find it fascinating, amazing.
Yeah, I was surprised they actually did it too. I'm like, oh my god, actually 2 books.
Yeah.
And it's like, why not keep going? It's like right now, because another reason I started writing these books because I remember I read this story. I think it's called from the Market Research Institute, and they said that African American tourism has the power to be about $7 billion industry.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the reasons I kind of, you know, continue writing these books. I was like, yeah, you're right, because one, I'm a business major by trade, by the way. So I realized, yeah, there's a huge market. More Black African Americans are traveling more than ever, and especially when countries start opening up again post COVID, travel is gonna blow up huge hard. So I was like, okay, let me get these books out, let people get know my name, and that way, eventually, I'll say, I know in the first start when it comes to like book sales, right now it's not gonna sell as much, but once people start traveling again, it's gonna blow up. Especially with Korea, especially with shows like Squid Games and the K-drama on Netflix, people are gonna try to come to Korea more than ever. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, let me get my name out there right now. I have a chance to build, a repertoire, like reputation. And then once it's safe travel and people come start traveling again, it's like, bam, they got the books ready to go. I'm like, here, I got 2 books for Korea right here. Let's go.
Yeah. And I can just kind of see that, because I was able to do a little bit of traveling this year and last year and whatnot. And it's just, you want a guide and whatnot, and you're providing that. And I can just see something like what you've made, when people come over there, it could be somewhere in the airport somewhere. Somebody can just see this thing on the shelf and be like, oh, I'm a black guy in a foreign country. Let me look at this book.
Right. Nah, that's what I'm hoping to do. Like maybe somebody who listens to this know that yes, there is a black man who wrote a travel guide about travel for South Korea from a viewpoint of a black man.
Word.
So that's my idea. I just want to hit every black person who likes to travel, who wants something like this. That's my aim. Like I believe personally with my content, if I can give this one black person to travel or get a passport, I call it a win more than anything.
Okay. So with that being said, where can people find these 2 glorious books?
Sure. The Black Traveler's Guide to Incheon spelling Incheon, and the Black Traveler's Guide to Daegu, Daegu. You can find on my Amazon right now in ebook formats. If you want to see more of my adventures or reach out to me, ask questions about Korea, hit me up on Instagram or TikTok at The Blerd Explorer.
Word. And it's on the screen if you're watching the video. And you've heard the his Instagram tags. Give him a follow. You got a TikTok.
Yep, I got a TikTok too. Yes.
You doing some funny dances out there?
Nah, I ain't do no dances. Nah, I ain't doing.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna go. I'm about to inspect it right now. We're gonna do it live. Oh shit, my volume up. Turn it down. All right, The Blerd Explorer. This is riveting audio for some people. And of course I spelled it wrong because that's why I'm not writing any books, because I can't spell. Yep. All right, there we are. That's not you, that's somebody else. Is it all one word?
Yeah, it's all one word. Yes, The Blerd Explorer.
Okay, so that's why I'm fucking up. Aha! I found you. You are followed.
All right.
Word. Did that live on the air for everybody. But hey, man, I appreciate you giving me your time and everything and just chopping it up with your boy. And shit, man, if you ever find yourself back in the States, if you ever just so happen to come to Texas, maybe hell, even Louisiana, because I'm from Lake Charles and everything.
Okay.
You come hang out with your boy. We can find some American fried chicken.
Yeah. Nah. I'm definitely down. I know at least when states travel again, I'm definitely gonna come stateside eventually. I don't know when. I can't say when, but it's definitely gonna happen. Yeah, and I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna hit up probably some other podcasts too. I went on last year, so I'll definitely do that for sure.
Word. So you've been a guest of the Random Realms with Rob podcast. The door is always open for you to come back to promote your next big thing or just to shoot the shit.
Likewise, if you ever need me to come on the show, man, just hit me up. I'll be down.
Word.